As when you hear about someone being a surrogate or surrogacy, maybe you think that that's something that happens in other cities, and it's actually happening right here in San Antonio, which is just a beautiful thing for a lot of couples who want to have children and for one reason or another cannot, so they seek out a surrogate.
So we want to introduce you to our guests this morning, Cori and Cori Smelker. Thank you so much for coming today.
Thank you.
Definitely a big decision when you decide to be a surrogate mother.
Yes, definitely. It's not one that's taken lightly, and it's not one that can be taken for selfish reasons.
And Cori, we want to talk about that you are expecting right now.
Yes.
You are a surrogate right now, so a couple here in San Antonio is anxiously awaiting the birth of the baby.
Very anxiously awaiting, and I have about 5 weeks left. So, but this is my third surrogacy, actually. I delivered twins almost 3 years ago, and then last April I delivered a very large, almost 10-pound baby, and now this one due in August.
How did you decide that this is something you wanted to do?
It's something that had actually germinated about 20 years ago, when I was about 20. A friend of mine had just fallen pregnant, and she was a little dismayed because they already had 3 children. And she was like, oh, I can't believe I'm 41 years old and I'm going to be having this baby. And her sister, who happened to be in the room, freaked out because she had been trying for 15 years to have a baby and couldn't. And her husband did not want to do an adoption. And she said, how selfish, I can't believe you said that. You know, people can't have children, and here you fall pregnant, like this is not fair. And my friend came to me in tears afterwards. She said, she said, if I'd known my sister felt that way, I never would have said what I said, and I wished I could help her, but I'm too old now. And that just germinated the thought that one day, when I'm done having my own children, if I could, I would like to help other people.
And you have been doing that for quite a while. So you have children of your own with your husband.
Yes.
How many, and what are the ages?
We have 5 kids. We have 18 is the oldest, and 8 is the youngest.
Lose track of those
I
kids
have
every now and then.
it all written down. I can't remember anymore.
Yeah, so it goes 18, 12, 10, 9, and 8. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And in addition to being a very busy mom and dad, raising these 5 children, you're also trying to pair up couples who want to have
Correct.
children with surrogate mothers, and you're a surrogate yourself.
I know.
How do you have time to do all that?
I work from home, which allows me to really multitask, I guess. The reason I was so passionate about being a surrogate, I thought, oh, I'll do it one time and I'll be done. And yet, after I was done that first time, I saw such a need for couples who, for some reasons out of their control, are not able to carry. And so I decided to carry a second time. It was actually during the course of my second surrogacy that people kept on saying, you should start an agency. And I'm thinking, well, there's agencies all over the country. But I realized there wasn't one here in San Antonio. And we have some of the best fertility specialists right here in the world, right here in San Antonio. And yet when they want to refer a couple to an agency, they were having to go either Dallas, Houston, or out of the state, or sometimes even across the world. And so I thought, well, we've got the resources right here. Why not start right here? And I actually have surrogates, women who want to be surrogates, who've come to me and said, can you please match me with a couple?
Wow.
We do want to point out that we are taking your phone calls today. If you have a question for Cori and Terry, give us a call, 470-5444. And let's take off from where you just mentioned that there are a lot of ladies who are coming to you. What do you need to think about, and who qualifies to be a surrogate?
A surrogate is somebody who's already given birth. They have to have had a child and be raising that child. They have to be financially stable. They cannot rely on the finances that they might get as a surrogate. They have to pass a rigorous medical examination and also a psychological examination. Now, the agency that I'm running only does gestational surrogacy, which means that the embryo, the egg and the sperm belong to the couple that you're caring for, so it's not genetically related to you. That cuts out a lot of the legal issues that may happen, because if you have a traditional surrogate, that egg is hers. She may choose to keep that baby at the end. But we don't have those issues when you're a gestational surrogate. So it would have to be somebody that knows going in that they that they're in for the long haul, and at the end of the day, they get to hand that baby over to the couple that they've been carrying for. It helps if they're in a stable environment. They don't necessarily have to be married, but to have the support, because you do get a lot of people with a lot of questions who are not always very nice about your choice to become a surrogate. And so they have to know that they have a lot of support to do that.
And you mentioned support. I want to ask Terry, this is something you're completely in support of, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
But I do the math a little bit, and I know you've got 5 kids. You've had 2, 1 on the way with surrogates, and that means that your wife has been pregnant most of your
married life. Yeah.
And how does that go?
Well, you know, it's just part of life. You know, I mean, I love kids. Otherwise, we wouldn't have 5 kids. But you know, the impetus for my supporting her on this was having run across a couple that we knew in our circle of friends who, you know, just, you know how couples are when you get married. It's like, okay, when are you going to have kids? You know, and that question always comes up. And one day I just blurted that out to a couple that just started crying. And I realized that was my first understanding that, hey, there are people out there that struggle to have kids, and the pain that they feel, sometimes hidden but very, very strong. And it was that couple actually in their discussions where she actually shared her, you know, story about her friend Kathy, and that was basically the germ, the seed that was planted to make this idea become a reality. And you know, it was just something that stuck in my mind, and I thought, well, you know, if you wanted to do that, I think I could support you with that, because I always remember that one couple, and but fortunately they were able to have kids later on, which was great for them. But you know, there's just so many that can't, and especially having gone through it with Cori and seeing the couples that we've been able to help, the joy on their faces in the birthing room it's just immeasurable. I mean, I get to relive my own kid's birth, but on a greater level, because it means so much to them. It's their hopes and dreams coming to reality, and it's an amazing thing. It's better than anything I've ever experienced outside of my own kids.
And next month you are due to deliver your 3rd pregnancy, but your 4th child by surrogacy.
Right.
And let's go through that, the beginning, where you started with 1 single child. And what emotions went through you when you were carrying this baby? Because I would think that would be the hardest one to maybe let go of. Me as a mom, I mean, I know how connected you become to the child growing inside of you.
You know, when you get pregnant as a surrogate, like I said, you have to go through that rigorous psychological examination. You go in with the mindset that when you start feeling that baby move and kick, that you get excited for the parents. And I remember I would call, especially with the twins, I would call the parents and go, you know, your babies, they're giving me heartburn. You need to talk to them. And really try and include the parents in what was happening, because I can't imagine, I mean, I'm the one that gets to feel their baby kick. I'm the one that gets to feel the baby move and everything. And so I try and include the mom and the dad as much as possible in the experience. But you do go in with that mindset, and so I separate by always referring to it as their baby, and always phoning them or emailing them and giving them updates, so that it helps me at that point separate. And like he said, though, when you have that baby and the doctor hands the baby over to them, to watch their faces is priceless.
Well, we're seeing some video of the website. It's called
Surrogate Angels of San Antonio.
Angels of San Antonio. We've already got a couple of questions on the phone. Good morning. You're live on San Antonio Living. Patricia, do you have a question for Cori or Terry?
Yes, I do. What is the cutoff age to be a surrogate?
What's the cutoff age? What's the oldest you can be as a surrogate?
Gestationally, you can actually go into your 40s. They like to have the upper age limit at 35. If you've delivered in the last couple of years, we will look at you. I'm 40, almost 41. And the only reason I'm able to carry into my 40s is because I've had babies from my 30s on. But generally, if you are 40 and you haven't had a baby in 20 years, unfortunately, the doctors are not, it's not my decision, that's the medical doctor's decisions. They need to know that you're able to carry a healthy baby.
And that's what it's all about,
Right.
the healthy baby
Right.
and the parents
Absolutely.
as well. Thank you so much for coming in and sharing with us what you're doing for families here in San Antonio. Do want to let everyone know how to get more information. The website is surrogateangelsofsanantonio.com. If you have a question for Cori, please send her an email. There it is at the top of your screen. You can also give them a call at this number, 509-7606.